Welcome and welcome back to the Indiana Blind Gardener. My name is Aisha. I live in Indianapolis Zone 6A. Today I'm gonna give you some tips as a beginner gardener that's wanting to understand what may work for you, what may not work for you, and little tips and tricks I have learned thus far within my first full month of being a gardener. First things first, know your gardening style. Are you gonna be in containers? Are you gonna do everything on, one of those hydroponic systems? Are you gonna do them outside? Know what style of gardener you want to be. I myself am a container gardener right now, and if we move into a house that has like that space for a garden bed, I definitely want to raise garden bed for sure, but as of right now, that is my gardening style. So with that, the next thing, number 2, is knowing what patience you have for your plants. If you are going to do actual like flowers and things like that and different succulents, or if you're going to grow actual food, I am going to do a mixture of both, knowing if you're wanting to start from seed or seedlings. So seedlings are when your actual plant starts to germinate and you see growth. So you can purchase seedlings pretty much anywhere. You can go to Lowe's, you can go to your local nurseries, you can go to Walmart. Hell, sometimes even Target has them. Menards, places like that. Maybe even Home Depot. So there's different ways you can start your gardening journey. And if you are in communities of people being able to like share different crops and things like that, you might be able to get some like things that's already kind of like growing and have some type of growth and have like fruits and vegetables on them, or maybe a plant that's already fully developed and you're just basically keeping it alive. So learning exactly what is going to be the thing that you're wanting to grow and knowing how much time certain things will take. You can buy plants that literally take little to no water. You can have plants that are literally greedy and they're always wanting to be watered. So just knowing where you're at in that. Soil and fertilizer are two big things. There are some fertilizers out here that people are like, they swear by. When I was watching The Kindergartner and Girl with Soil, they both stood by bone meal and blood meal, and I can do a separate video specifically talking about different fertilizers and what they're for. And I've also made myself banana peel water. I don't think I did the last video that I posted. I don't think I really told y'all. I don't remember rather, but I can do a video specifically on fertilizers. You can make your own homemade fertilizer, but basically your plant needs to be fertilized. It does, because it will help the growth, it'll help the stems. If you have bone meal. Bone meal helps with vegetative growth when it comes to fruits and some veggies. So, and then blood meal right now, from what I can understand from blood meal, is that those help with nitrogen, green leafy plants. So that is the difference with that. And then the banana pretty much does a little bit of all of that, but it gives your plants protein. Well, not protein, potassium. It gives it potassium, and that is really good for plants, and you can use it every single week. So some fertilizers only have to be used once a week, some fertilizers every couple weeks. So it really depends on what you're looking at when it comes to that. But like I said, I'll do a whole video separately talking about fertilizers and different soils, because I started off my garden journey with thicker soil, like planting soil, like you basically put on the ground, and it was a lot thicker, it was a lot more dense. And then when I got at potting soil, I saw how the difference was. It was a lot more airy. So there's so many different versions, but I could also do a video separately talking about that as well. If you're going to do container gardening in your house, you need to protect your floors and whatever surface you have your plants actually on. So I have those, like, I'll show videos throughout this, so y'all know what I'm talking about, because I don't know terminology of everything. So I have those like pans that you put under your plants. I have that. These right here is what I'm talking about. These like plastic things, I have them on those containers right there as well. So that's what I mean. And then you can also use like old pans. Like, I would say, if you're going to container garden and you're trying to be as cheap and as affordable as possible, you can literally go to Dollar Tree and you can get those cookie sheet pans, or you can get like aluminum pans and utilize that. Because when I put my potatoes soon in grow bags, the plan is for that to be like sitting kind of leveled up on something, but it's going to be over a roasting pan. Don't be afraid of starting over. Listen, I recently started on May 22nd. Well, not May, June 22nd. Yeah, June 22nd. And I literally had transferred everything over to the containers within 3 days. Not even 3 days, 2 days. My cucumbers and my tomatoes both had died. They had got a shock. And then my husband put them on the windowsill, so they were getting nothing but direct sunlight, and you're supposed to like kind of like ease it back into things, and I shocked them and they died. So do not be afraid of starting over. Do not be afraid of picking things up out of the soil and just being like, okay, we need to figure out what's the problem here. And for me, I literally shocked my plants. So I started over. I'm getting growth with my cucumbers now. So that's why I'm not really showing that just right now, because I'm like, they're still in germination. I have some growth, but my tomatoes, no growth yet, which is to be expected. I have a little bit, but it's not a bush yet. So there's that. Do not be afraid of starting over. But every gardener kills a plant. It's all about how you end up recovering from it, learning from those mistakes. I feel like now that I know where to go get some good containers from, because I'm currently in buckets. So I'm literally growing my things in buckets, and they were less than $3. So I know that I can go somewhere and find affordable containers where my plants and my seeds can actually do their thing in, and I don't have to worry about, you know, if anything dies, because it'll be growing in the same container until we get some harvest. So hopefully before my first frost date, I can get some harvest out of my cucumbers, especially the cucumbers, because that is my golden plant. I'm enjoying that. Last thing, shop affordably. If you do not have the money to go out and buy a $1,000 hydroponic system, which is what I want, if you do not have the money for that, definitely do not mind going and shopping cheap. Like I just said, I went to Dollar Tree and I got all my containers that I have. I also got free seeds when I started off with my cucumbers and my tomatoes. But you can go on Amazon and buy some really cheap seeds. You can also get seeds from food that you're already purchasing from the store. So, you know, like, there's so many workarounds here. When it comes to tools, you can go to Walmart, Dollar General, Dollar Tree, Family Dollar, places like that, to find cheap and affordable products, well, tools for you to be able to have an indoor garden. So as of right now, I'm still in the beginner stage. I'm enjoying what I'm doing, and now I'm in the process of thinking about what I want to grow for the winter time. Now, like I said, I do want to plant actual flowers, and I don't necessarily need them to have like leaves, the like pretty leaves. I just want some really nice greenery. My grandmother has a plant that's literally just nothing but vines. It's like everywhere. That is what I want. So that is what's happening here. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you got some good tips. Hopefully you are going to start your container gardening or your garden in general.